Good afternoon, friends. In a HR job, most of the time you are doing a mediator's job. Whole day you are settling disputes between two parties or two people. My friends, achieving a good settlement through mediation requires the skill of a lawyer to take a different approach on any issue involved. The use of litigation skill in mediation is not productive, my friends. Deal making skills will serve the person, a mediator, far better. So today I'll be talking on tips to play a mediator. Before going to any mediation, you must, my friends, prepare yourself. And you must prepare your two parties involved. Both the parties must understand that a mediation is not like a court proceedings and must be clear on the roles of all the participants. I would suggest, out of my experience, that when you meet the parties, you go over certain points very deliberately. Like the mediator role is to be a neutral. You can't be partial or biased or showing your liking and disliking to any of the party involved, irrespective of your emotional and personal attachment to that person. The mediator will not attempt to decide who is right or wrong. It is purely based on the evidences and the proofs. It is not enough to impress the mediator. You have to impress the other party too by your convincing logics. Both the parties must understand that they should not expect the mediator to evaluate the case. Mediators typically know less about the case than the parties. Parties involved know much better. What they are saying, what they are telling may not be the absolute truth. They will convey everything so that the entire mediator must favor them, or his decision goes in their favor. People are far more willing to compromise with those whom they respect. So mediator has to be a respectful figure and has to be acceptable to both the parties. And so that both the parties, they should be courteous towards the mediator and they should have a very reasonable respect. You cannot risk damaging your credibility through exaggerations or false statements. You must give the other side everything they need to hang their hats on. Be patient, be logical, give a proper hearing. Be prepared to agree with the opponents. The parties must be prepared to agree with the opponents when they are right and logical. You have to stop and shed your stubbornness. Obstinacy cannot help, will be a biggest hindrance for any mediator to get involved and come to a logical conclusion to resolve the issue. We will have two numbers in mind. What we will initially ask for and what you really want. But be prepared to keep an open mind and do not adopt a bottom line approach. Be prepared to stay until the case is resolved, until the mediator says that an impasse has been reached and nothing more can be done. Then he uses arbitrary decisions. Some times, some disputes, a mediator, that particular case may take more than one session to settle. Be prepared for that. Do not be discouraged if the dispute or the case does not settle by the first mediation. After the review of the foregoing, the points I have just discussed, the mediator comes to know exactly how he has to further proceed. It was Abraham Lincoln, my friends, who said that a good settlement is better than a good lawsuit. The fact that the vast majority of the cases, disputes are settled, proves that his admonition has taken to the heart. If you prepare carefully, adopt a candid attitude, have patience, and be willing to compromise, you will find that mediation works well for you and for the parties involved. Simple tips I want to repeat of my entire talk. If you are a mediator, that keep calm, remain composed and objective, don't get involved, avoid giving advices. This will include you in arguments. Encourage both parties to negotiate and find solutions, so that you reach an amicable and logical decision which is applicable to both, agreeable to both. Encourage even you should encourage even everyone to see the other points of view. As a mediator, you should always look for a common grounds. Encourage listening, and very important, reconcile fairly, and you'll be a better mediator. Thank you very much.